Hello and welcome to another weekly update. I hope if you were at Microsoft Ignite, you are back home now and rested and recovered. It's a very fun week, but also quite a demanding one. So I hope you kind of fully recovered from there. First up to tell you about is I put a blog post out in the week and I rounded up all the videos I did for Microsoft Ignite. So all the interviews I did before, during and slightly after Ignite, all in one place. And I know I keep going on about them. This is the last time I'll talk about them, I think. But there's a blog post that has all the embedded videos in, so you can kind of go through and see which ones you like the look of. I think there's lots of interesting content in there. I managed to get hold of lots of interesting people and talk to them in and around Microsoft Ignite. So if you want to see what, for instance, Jared Spataro, CVP for Microsoft 365 thinks, or Scott Hanselman thinks, or lots of other people, interesting people who have roles inside Microsoft, then definitely go and check those out. I think they're kind of an interesting set of videos, and they were a lot of fun to make as well. All right, so other things that have happened kind of in and around the Ignite timeframe. I put a blog post out this morning about this. The application registration portal was the way that you used to make entries in Azure for your applications and give them permissions and get the app IDs and the secrets that you needed. And in fact, if you look back at a lot of my blogs and videos, I reference this application registration portal as the way to set up, if you're making a bot, for instance, you need to kind of set up the registration there. And that's also the case for some of the other calling APIs, for instance, and some of the other API workloads in and around Microsoft Teams development. The application registration portal has been superseded really by native functionality in the Azure portal for some time now, and for a while the recommendation has been to use that instead of use the Azure portal instead of the application registration portal. The application registration portal, by the way, is the one if you go to apps.dev.microsoft.com is where you end up. That's now being deprecated. It has a deprecation date of some point in the middle of December, I think. I want to say December 15th this year, so it's quite soon. So I put a blog post out now about what you need to do about that. Basically, you just need to start using the Azure portal. There's a couple of times in which case you can't use that, so some information in the blog about that as well. Also worthy of your attention, I think, Microsoft have just put out a white paper about using Teams and Power Apps together, and this is I love this. This is amazing. So it's like a full white paper. So there's going to be stuff in here that I will almost certainly blog about. I'll pull out the contents of. I've had a skim through it. I haven't had a chance to read all the way through it, but I wanted to kind of make you people aware of it first. It's a white paper aimed at IT admins really, and those responsible for making apps, deploying apps, supporting apps, where there's integration with Microsoft Teams and there's integration with the Power Apps platform. So the idea is the white paper tells you all the different ways in which you can customize Teams, how you can add Power Apps to Teams. So that's a new announcement really that came out of Microsoft Ignite, the ability to add Power Apps into Teams as apps and even pin them on the left rail as well. So this white paper has loads and loads of information about how to do that. So it's well written as well. There's loads of screenshots in there. It's not kind of particularly dry. I think it's really good. I think it's worth digging into if if you're an IT admin and you've got a bunch of Power Apps and you want to bring them into Teams. This will tell you exactly how you can do that. If you're thinking about writing some Power Apps that you want to expose in Teams, this is worth looking at as well because it's got all the examples. It tells you what's possible, and there may be things in there that you haven't thought of. So definitely that white paper is worthy of your time. Also, and finally, I think, is one of these roundup blog posts put out on the tech community by the Microsoft Teams team, and it's a roundup of all the big announcements in Microsoft Teams that happened at Microsoft Ignite this last week. Now, you probably know many of these. You probably are keeping on the pace of all the new announcements and stuff, and there's other outlets telling you all this stuff as well. I think it's worth just skimming down. There's some interesting things in there. The one that caught my attention was number 7, the thing we've just been talking about actually, around publishing apps into Teams, but also more power in the Power Platform for integrating with Teams and more capabilities. There's some good screenshots in there as well. And also it goes into some detail about some Teams-centric actions and triggers that are now available within Power Automate. So for instance, you can create a flow, a trigger, a Power Automate flow for when, say, somebody new joins the team, or when a certain keyword is mentioned. So that's really interesting. So there's also some stuff in there about the Power BI interactive cards. There's some screenshots as well. So this is a good blog post for rounding off everything that's new, and it's got links out as well to more information and some good screenshots. So that's a good one to go and read as well if you miss kind of some of these announcements, or you want to just dig into them in a little bit more detail and understand what's happening behind the scenes. All right, that's everything from me. I hope you have a really good week next week. I hope your kind of workload isn't too bad post-Ignite, and you get some chance to catch up on some of the sessions that you may not have had a time to see either in real time or during the week of Ignite. There's loads and loads of content in there. I'm certainly still going through the session list and pulling out interesting things, so look out hopefully for more of that from me as well. But in the meantime, have a great West weekend, and I will speak to you again next week.